the steaming jungle, young Scott Alan Babbitt crept through the shadowy corridors of an ancient, forgotten temple. At his side walked Emo, his loyal little robot companion, whose glowing turquoise eyes peered into every darkened corner. Emo whirred softly, "Beep, beep!" Scott pressed one hand against the carved stone wall and whispered, "Stay close." "Emo, something tells me this place doesn't welcome visitors."
The temple walls were covered with mysterious hieroglyphs, strange faces, forgotten gods, and symbols that glowed with cold blue light. The markings seemed to pulse beneath Scott's fingertips, almost like the temple itself was breathing. Scott leaned closer. "The treasure's gotta be close." Scott stepped forward. Click. The floor sank beneath his shoe. For one terrible moment, the entire temple became silent. Then the walls shook. Dust poured from the ceiling. Loose stones danced across the floor, and a deep rumbling rose from somewhere behind them. With a thunderous crash, enormous stone boulders burst into the corridor. They rolled toward Scott and Emo, smashing pillars, crushing ancient carvings, and filling the passage with flying debris. Scott's eyes widened. "Run, Emo." The passage ahead was blocked. The boulders thundered nearer. Scott realized there was only one way out of this mess. He raised one finger and pressed the tip of his own nose. Beep. Instantly, Scott's eyes blazed with brilliant blue light. Ancient energy surged around him. Stones rose from the floor, the air shimmered, and time itself seemed to slow. With lightning-fast reflexes, Scott snatched Emo from the floor and leapt. He vaulted over the rolling boulders, planted one foot against the temple wall, and hurled himself across the corridor. Blue energy exploded wherever his hands and feet struck the stone. "Hang on, Emo." Scott bounced from wall to wall like a human pinball, carrying his little companion safely above the tumbling rocks. But the boulders were only the beginning. Spinning blades swept across the passage. Spears shot from hidden holes. Ancient platforms collapsed into bottomless pits. Guided by his strange nose-activated powers, Scott twisted through every danger, clutching Emo tightly beneath one arm. A volley of arrows flashed past his head. Scott grinned, not doomed today. Scott and Emo burst from the temple and stumbled into the warm jungle sunlight. Behind them, the ancient doorway groaned as dust and rubble poured from the ruins. Scott looked back at the temple, then down at his faithful robot companion. "We made it." Emo's turquoise eyes shone brightly.
Another successful adventure, Master Scott.
Scott rested one hand upon Emo's head and smiled. They had survived the boulders, the blades, the arrows, and every dreadful doom the temple could throw at them. And so ended another adventure of Scott Alan Babbitt, hero, explorer, and possessor of the strangest superpower the ancient world had ever known. The power of the nose.